How to teach new skills using the ESDM methodology and principles. We use joint activity routines to teach new skills to children using ESDM. So there's 4 phases to any routine that you're going to establish where you're trying to introduce something new. First, you establish the activity. So decide what activity you're going to be doing. And remember, we're always following the child's lead. So it should be something motivating to the child. And so establishing it just means, oh, we're going to play cars, or let's string beads, or let's wash our hands. So you're naming what the activity is, and that helps organize it and get your child introduced to this is what we're doing right now. So it helps with their attention and focus. Then you engage in the activity. So whether it's stringing beads, whether it's washing your hands, and within the activity, if you can elaborate on it a little bit to make it more interesting or do it in a different way, then it will increase the child's attention span to the activity and also promote flexibility. So if normally when you are washing your hands, you take the paper towel and have the child try to pull it out of the paper towel dispenser on their own. So that's something that you've added. It's functional because the child will eventually need to learn that, but you're just giving them something to keep it more interesting. And then you're praising them when they're trying, and with whatever accuracy they got it, you always praise. And then the last step is closing. So closing the activity means you're either, for hand washing, you're throwing the tissue away. Oh, all done washing hands. Or if it's an actual activity that has objects, you're putting the objects away and cleaning up before you move on to the next activity. This is a really great, one of the best strategies in ESDM to implement for many reasons. It's a great learning strategy. You can teach while you're cleaning up, so teaching sorting, teaching matching. Oh, the cars go in this bin, the balls go in that bin. But it also helps organize them so they know that this activity is now ended, it's closed, and now we're going to move on to something new. So when you're teaching a new skill, first the child needs to see it. So see it happen, or see how it works. Our kiddos are very visual, so the more that you can give them, let them see how to do it, or even give them a visual of a picture of what they're going to do next, that would be ideal. So first you show them how to do it, and then you encourage them to imitate you. So sometimes that means hand over hand. So that's the most prompting or the most support you can give a child. And so that means that you are holding their hand and helping them either put something in or take something out, or to do something with both hands. And then the least amount of support would be verbal. So, oh, let's clean up, and then they clean up, or gesture pointing to where they need to put something. So you encourage imitation with things, and then you prompt them to whatever level they need prompting. And if they do imitate, you give them positive reinforcement, great job, or you give them another turn as a natural positive reinforcer. And just remember that the child learns when you respond and how you respond. So whatever way you're responding to them is giving them a message. And so remember to, motivate them, but be patient if they're having a hard time, so that they learn to be patient with themselves, and to do less each time for them, so that they can get better at doing, and encourage them to work hard. And then repeat the activity often. So when you're teaching a new skill, try to repeat it as many times. So if one of the skills that you're working on through your early intervention plan is throwing tissues away or putting things in the garbage as one of their chores, then have them practice it frequently and give them opportunities frequently throughout the day. That's what I meant by putting on your ESDM goggles, looking for opportunities for your child to practice their skill. And then once they get very confident with the skill, doing it at about 80%, then you can always add a step or elaborate or add a variation to it to make it a little harder. So always push them just a little bit past their skill set so they keep reaching. So here's an example of the steps that we want you to follow with regards to imitating. And what we're trying to get the kiddos to do, that we had talked about imitation and the importance in learning. So when your child can imitate sounds, gestures, they have a greater opportunity to learn things more effectively. So and that is how a child learns. They look and they imitate. So first, when you're working on imitation, first you offer an object to the child and you wait for them to look at it, point to it, make a sound before you hand it over to them. So that is a really big reinforcer for communication. So the reinforcer is they made some kind of sound or something and they got it. So now they know that communication means something. Another step is playing with the object together. So after you've given it to them because they wanted it, then we want to teach them how to play with it together by you take the object, you do show the target behavior. So if it's putting the ball in the ball maze, you take the ball and you put it in the ball maze, and then you work to help the child to imitate it. And making sure that it's something that is motivating to them. And usually they'll let you know by trying to reach for the ball or trying to do the imitation, and you just need to help them. And then once they imitate what you've asked them to do, then just let them play as they would like to play. So first you offer the object and then the child wants it, so you give it to them. So say it's a ball, then you play with the object together. So if it's the ball tower, you're taking some turns and they're taking some turns, or they have the ball and they're just kind of holding it, not sure what to do. So you show them with your ball, you put the ball in the ball tower and make a big racket about it, make it really loud so it pulls their attention in if they're not paying attention. And then it's so cool that they want to do it, and so then you help them do it. And eventually you will, and then when they do imitate it, you, yay, great job, and then you just let them play as they'd like, and then you do it again and take another turn and have them imitate it again. So it's very natural. It's not like you want to have their play a big part of it and your play a little part initially. So having them imitate maybe 5 times in the first 20 minutes is plenty. But then as they are imitating more, then you can show them more and they'll imitate more rapidly. So as far as routines, joint activity routines, there's some different ones that you can do with your kiddo that you might not have even thought of. So when we talked about routines, it's something that a child can do with another person that's socially motivating and can be focused on an object or on a sensory social activity. So one activity that you can do a ton throughout the day is hello and goodbye. If you think about it, you see somebody and you say hello, and then the child has to respond in some way or imitate a gesture using eye contact. You could also do like a high five. So saying hello and saying goodbye is a routine that really builds a lot of skills in your child. So anytime you come into your room in your house, say, hi, Johnny, and then, oh, I'm going to go, bye-bye, and really over-exaggerate the waving. And if they wave a little bit, wave big back at them. Remember, over-exaggerate the gestures and the facial expressions so that they see that what they're doing is meaningful and they get a good response from it. And for snack time is another really great time for joint activity routines because they're motivated by the food and the snack. So have them ask for the food, have them share the food. So establish a routine around snack time where they have to ask and then maybe ask for open, and then you give them some, and then they have to ask for more, or they have to point to their drink. So a routine can be established around snack time. And then cleanup is another time throughout the day where you can do a lot of work with the kiddos' goals. So you can teach instructions, following instructions like give me the block or give me yellow, or dishes go here, spoons go there. So while they're cleaning up, you're having them follow directions, follow prepositional phrases, follow multi-step directions. First we do this, then we do that. So cleanup is another really great time to think about establishing joint activity routines. If it's a trickier instruction like we had just mentioned, you can teach it through chaining. So you just do one step at a time and then keep adding steps. So if we get the ball and we put it under the table. And so then you say, okay, first, what are we going to do? We're going to get the ball. Yeah. And then you have them break it down into steps. And then eventually you can give 2 steps and they're able to hold them both in their brain and complete them.